Hey everybody, welcome to the Cyber Monday show. We're going to start off just a slight bit different today because, believe it or not, this is the last Cyber Monday show of 2021. Gotcha. I also got Maekshyft earlier, so it's a funny joke, right? No, but this is the last show of the year, so we have a lot to celebrate, but I wanted to start with a huge thank you to each and every one of you who has been watching, especially with these live streams, and who have been watching kind of the content all year. At the start of the year, I didn't tell anybody about the channel. I didn't tell anybody. My wife knew. My parents didn't. But throughout the year, I just kind of started opening up a bit more about it, and I feel like you guys really all embrace me, and I really appreciate that. And it's allowed me to get to meet just a ton of really awesome people, including Maekshyft, my co-host, and Alexandria, who will be our guest today, as well as all of the amazing guests that we've had on so far, and that we plan on having in the new year. So thank you guys so much. I'm really excited to see what we have in store for 2022. And to celebrate, we have a huge giveaway. We got 2 1-month Try Hack Me vouchers, courtesy of Cyber Supply Drop. So thank you so much to everybody there. And I'm very excited to jump right in. So with that, let's have Maekshyft join us. Sir, how's it going?
I don't know. I don't appreciate the call out and throwing me under the bus that you got me earlier. I don't know how I feel about all this.
I mean, it's who didn't get duped? She caught it all the way. Alexandria, how are you?
Oh, hi. Can everyone hear me? Hi, y'all.
Perfect. So thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you on. I know that a lot of people that are watching probably do know a little bit about you, but for those that don't, do you mind just kind of going through like your journey so far in cybersecurity and some of the things that you've learned so far?
Yeah, I'll try not to ramble and keep it short, but currently I'm a senior in university. My major is cybersecurity and digital forensics, but I did like a YouTube video on it, and it was like my degree basically is more computer science. So then I realized after doing an internship at a cybersecurity consulting firm, I was like, oh crap, I'm not doing cybersecurity. So that's what got me on my journey of doing cybersecurity. I've worked like all over the place. I was a teacher's assistant for 2 years at a nonprofit, and I taught kids how to code. Did that consulting internship. I worked at a bank as a IT security analyst, but I mostly worked in governance. And then I left corporate for startup, and I actually haven't posted about that publicly. So this is the first time I'm mentioning it. I am now a developer advocate intern at Blue Bracket.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't have an applause button like Davin Jackson on cybersecurity. So we're just going to have to imagine production quality around here. What can I say? It's not as good.
That's okay.
That's awesome. I mean, so you've been around, kind of a bit. You've gotten to see at a high level and a low level. I feel like that's really setting you up in a really great position.
Oh yeah, and it's not like I tried to job hop. I was known in high school for job hopping. I wouldn't stay at a place more than 3 months because I guess one of my friends on Twitter called me a Renaissance woman. So I was just like, I gotta try everything, I guess. And that's kind of how I was just like, I'm gonna get all this experience and try to figure out what I like, because I don't want to be stuck at a place I don't like just for the sake of a paycheck.
Yeah, I feel that. And I mean, we always talk about, stay until you're done learning or until you're not learning anymore, right? So it sounds like you're really doing that, and that's awesome. I also did cybersecurity in college, so I feel like I have a ton of questions just because, experiences do vary school to school, but I kind of want to know like how similar, our programs work. Because I feel like, no shame to my school, I'm probably killing opportunities with them right now. They were good, but definitely some self-study needed. Kind of what has your experience been like with that?
Same here to my university. Please don't take away my scholarship. I mean this in the nicest way. My degree was mostly computer science, so a lot of programming, Python, Java, data structures, which gave me so much anxiety because I had to take it twice. It was very difficult. And and that's what made me think I wanted to be a developer, by the way. And then I switched over back to cybersecurity. So my school was mostly like, I feel like cybersecurity is such a hot word now, and colleges are always a couple of years behind. So you really have to look at the paradigm. And if you're a freshman like me entering college and you've never had that exposure to tech, so you go to college already thinking like, okay, this is what a cybersecurity person is supposed to do, not realizing it's a huge field. And then I realized also you don't have to code to be in cybersecurity. And I felt like I was being held hostage. I love my school, but I felt like I was being held hostage learning how to code when there was like so many other like classes, like networking, for example. I had never taken a networking class. I looked at the OSI model for about 5 minutes and didn't realize how important it was because I've only seen it on one slide in school. So that was one of the reasons I kind of got into teaching. I was like, I'm learning all this stuff from all these other cool people. I need to like bring this back to my community. Oh yeah, I agree with Eric. I see.
He's the troll in the group. He likes to throw funny, very lighthearted jabs at people.
And because some of this does get put into podcasts for people that are listening this like way later and you can't see the comments, well, just catch us on YouTube. You'll see it. But, that's awesome. And I completely agree. I'm pretty sure my experience with the OSI model was the exact same. And I learned more about it making like my own video about it than I did in school.
Yeah.
Go figure, right?
Right. I agree. Like creating content was a way of like learning in public. Like my whole thing is like, let me learn in public. I don't know what I'm doing. People correct me. I'll do research on it. I'll relearn it. Like I was just like, I don't know, what I want to do and how I'm supposed to do this. So let me just try everything. I mean, something's going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And actually the thumbnail says learning in public. I took it from your bio. I hope you don't sue me, please. But I love the phrase. I was like, holy moly, this is fantastic. And that I feel like you've been killing it doing that. And I feel like it's so important. Was it Diera, I think, tweeted that as well. Like, don't be afraid to learn and grow in public. And, people will kind of see you growing. Like, yeah, that's just so good. Like, yes, more of that, please,
Yes. That's like one of the reasons, like, I feel like in tech, I don't know, like, I feel like it was like a lot of people that are good at their job, but teaching is a whole nother skill set. It's like being able to teach something is like a skill set in itself. And that's why I feel like it's so important for me to learn in public, because when people ask me questions about these things, I'm like, I never thought about that. Let me find a different way to explain. And when you find these different ways to explain, you're also learning and helping yourself as you learn these new topics.
Yeah, 100%. The beard approves. Yes. Not mine, his. He has an actual.
Well, that was one thing that was kind of, when I was kind of making my way up and I was connecting with people on Twitter, that was something that a lot of people commended me on, was the fact that I put myself out there, because a lot of people are afraid to do that because, let's all agree on the fact that when we're being told that either we're doing something wrong or that we're saying something wrong, we're not always, real keen on taking that lightly. You kind of almost tend to take a little bit of a defensive, aspect to it. You're like, I'm not saying something wrong, but I had to get very, used to that fact. And I was, and I'm still this way because I'm still learning. But yeah, it's like, you put yourself out there and you have to be open to the fact that somebody's going to correct you, and you have to be willing to then take that constructive criticism that they give you and, and hopefully then regurgitate that back out, in a teaching manner to teach somebody else that might not know that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of constructive criticism, a lot. And I've learned to, like, I guess, take what I can from it and just build a better environment for me to learn in public. Like, I just feel like, I I don't know. I feel like sometimes that constructive criticism can really help me grow. Because, of course, if someone's been in the field longer than me and they're like helping me out, I really appreciate that kind of stuff. I've built so many friendships and relationships and bonds through Twitter and other social medias.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like there's two different, things we can hit on with constructive criticism, not just the, learning publicly side. Well, we're gonna leave the other thread there for a second. Maybe we'll circle back to it if we want to shake trees, as again Davin likes to say. Eric kind of brought up layer 8. He loves to just remind me of this moment, kind of on taking feedback and the growing pains of learning in public. The OSI model video, I like retweeted it or something because like I did it before I had my Twitter account, and Eric watches it and he's like, "Hey, you forgot layer 8." And I'm like, "Oh man, I forgot layer 8. I can't believe I forgot layer 8." So I'm like doing research, and like according to some models, like there's like layers like 8, 9, 10. I didn't know that. So I was like, "Oh no, I forgot layer 8, 9, 10." And like I deleted the tweet, and I can't remember if I took the video down momentarily or not. But like Eric, like I freak out. I'm like, "Oh, I can't believe I just did this. I gotta like go back and fix it." And Eric gives me a call and he's like, "No, I was messing with you." And I was like, "You jerk! Why would you do that?" But yeah, learning pains. What can I say?
That's a good point because, like, of course, learning in public, I will make mistakes. And I used to, like, delete the tweet. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I made a mistake. Now I just, like, retweet it, quote, retweet it, and hope people see it. I'm like, oh, well, I made a mistake. Learn from this. Because people are much easier to catch on to your mistakes sometimes than, like, your successes on something. So they'll learn that's what you shouldn't do. So, yeah, I've learned to take on those failures and turn it into something helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, tell me about kind of like your, teaching experience and how that's helped kind of not only you learn in the industry, because I feel like my dad always because he's a professor, right? So he'll always tell me when one teaches, two learn. And I like it. Mm-hmm. I like the phrase because it's so true. How has that helped you while you're learning in public to also continue to learn and also, really, I feel like in some ways kind of fast track your career before you've even started?
Yeah, I feel like becoming a teacher really helped me create content and learn how to format it. Because you can have a lot of knowledge, but if you don't know how to use the platform or know how to send out information to your kids. Well, I taught kids. I taught K through 12. So that's an experience in itself, making sure kids can pay attention to whatever I'm teaching them. So like that experience, I did that, I think started my freshman year. That was actually my first like tech job, technically. So I did that for about 2 years. And when we were doing certain assignments, it was kind of like not just teaching kids, but giving them the environment to grow. Because there's typically, I feel like even as adults, like we want to like give up when we're learning when something is too difficult. And I try to get my kids used to asking questions. That's like my biggest thing. I'm like, if you learn anything in this class, do not be afraid to ask questions. Because like I entered college, I was like, oh crap, I'm afraid to ask questions. And then I started looking at my tuition and then I stopped getting afraid to ask questions. Yeah. So I told my kids, I was like, do not be afraid to ask questions. If you think the question is stupid, just ask it anyway. Because someone else probably has that same stupid question anyway. So you're helping everyone. So like, I just want kids to feel comfortable. That's number one thing. I don't want kids to feel like they have to just be a developer or a coder. That's one of the things I loved about working at this place is they had like robotics, game design. I actually helped teach their first cybersecurity course this past summer, and they've asked me to come on again to hopefully prep for another cybersecurity course. So yeah, it's just, sorry, I'm like all over the place, but yeah, like it was just like a whole experience. Like I just want kids to have fun at the same time, yeah, you want to learn stuff, but you also want to, keep that fiery passion. So yeah.
Meg, I wasn't sure if you were about to say something.
I have something in mind.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, it's actually, I kind of like the fact that you have done teaching from K through 12, because when it comes to the cybersecurity, very much the reason why I latched on to Caleb's material is that I think having that fundamental baseline of like, you're used to having to take, stuff and put it into it easier to digest, bits for them to consume. When it comes to you then turning around and teaching people about cybersecurity, you're going to be able to do the exact same thing. I know a lot of the topics that are in cybersecurity, whether you're blue, red, or purple, they can get very, very deep, very, very technical, and I think having that and then taking those high topics, and being able to turn them around and explain them in easy to understand concepts is really, really going to help you later on.
Yeah, I agree totally. Cause it's like I feel like I don't really understand a subject if I'm not able to break it down in the simplest way. Like if I'm like on this abstract layer and I'm just like, that's my layer of understanding, I don't feel like I understand it then.
Mm-hmm. Third co-host.
Let's make it happen. I mean, yeah. I love it. And I mean, I'm so curious because I don't think I've heard of too many organizations that really do take a lot of time to actively educate kids like K through 12 on cybersecurity. I really want to ask if you can name the organization, but for purposes, if you're not comfortable, that's totally fine. But I feel like they deserve some recognition because that's sick.
Oh, yeah. So the name of this organization is called Code Crew. They actually teach remote classes currently. So you could be like anywhere in the state taking these classes. I think the last 2 classes I taught, not just the cybersecurity course, but also there was a Python class. And I forgot what this little robot is called, but it played music. And we taught the kids how to code with Python so they can play different songs on there. It was really neat. It's really neat to see them get excited. I like that feeling where when kids don't understand and then they all of a sudden like have this moment and their eyes light up and they're like, oh, I got it. And that's one of the reasons that keeps me teaching.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I don't know, it's been a conversation on how can we integrate cybersecurity education in K through 12. And I feel like it sounds like hard, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that challenging. What are some of the ways that you found has really kind of helped make it less challenging?
Yeah, so kids they need most of the kids I've taught, like they need stimulation like myself. I'm not saying that I'm kiddie, but I need like something interactive.
Same.
So for example, like in a class, we taught like how to spot a phishing email, something very simple because kids, honestly, I think some older people should be in the class too. But anyway, so how to spot a phishing email. And so we had the kids playing through like 10 different emails and we're like, we explain what a phishing email is. We give an example. Then we have the kids do it. And of course, there's some sort of like reward to get them going. And we this is stuff that they can apply in real life as well. So that was the example of one lesson that we taught. I feel like cybersecurity education should begin like honestly at level K, kindergarten, because it doesn't have to be something overly complex. It's no different than you teaching your kids like addition, multiplication, all of that. I feel like I can't give exact lessons, but I feel like we should integrate it into internet safety instead of just telling kids like don't talk to strangers online, because obviously we know kids. But like we need to make it be more realistic about our education and like that we want to give out to our kids.
Yeah, I'm all for it. And I mean, I'll see it. These are moments. I'm only 25 and I feel like I'm already having so many moments where I'm like, I'm so old. We're like, my life, like we will see like my cousins who are like, I don't know, elementary age or like younger, and they'll like grab an iPad and literally do whatever they want already. And it's like, what in the world?
No, I'm the same. I see kids with iPads. I was like, I didn't have that when I was your age.
Yeah, legit. I mean, yeah, man, I want to think about it. But you're totally right. And we've talked about interactive learning And that's kind of one of the things about like something like Try Hack Me, for instance, where it's gamified. You get some of that interaction and interactivity. Are there existing products, I guess, or maybe not even products, but existing solutions for, I guess, kids or K through 12, or can you use something like Try Hack Me for K through 12?
I think Try Hack Me, from the lessons that I've been on, I think it'd be great for like high school level. I have only seen one other platform. It's left my mind. But I've only seen one other platform like dedicated towards teaching kids in cybersecurity. So that's honestly something I feel like that should be really like, I don't know, maybe somebody can hop on that idea or something. But like, I feel like that's something that we need more of is there's a lot of games dedicated towards coding for kids, but we really need something more dedicated towards I feel like cybersecurity or something, a field in cybersecurity for kids. So that's a good question. I'll get back to you on that and my other job.
Awesome. I wasn't sure if you were about to say something again. Sorry.
No, I just, I know, like, something that I was doing when I was trying to learn how to code, which, by the way, failed miserably. I do not code. I have taken HTML courses. I've taken C++, and it just, I don't know if it was the teachers or what, but it didn't work out. Me and coding go together like me and whiskey do, and it's just not a good combination. But no, there's a really good website that you can go to that is kind of more geared towards like younger kids in wanting to learn how to code, called code.org. And what's really, really neat about it is, because I was trying to learn like JavaScript or whatever, and it utilizes Minecraft characters. So it's already, reaching out to a younger audience, and you have like these puzzle piece blocks, and you literally just connect them to make the character do something. And then as soon as you're done doing that, then it, it comes up on the screen, hey, congratulations, you made him move 2 blocks forward or whatever. But then it'll show you like what the raw code actually looks like, and what, what you would actually have to type into a computer. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. And I definitely agree. I think, the cybersecurity space, especially in education, is lacking. Even from somebody that went to a community college to learn how to do this, it just I didn't grab anything really from it. A lot of the I don't think we really ever even touched on the OSI model. We did a little bit networking, but I had a teacher that didn't really know how to teach. He knew he was a smart dude, just didn't know how to teach it. And I think that, yeah, and it's like, I think that if we really started spending more time focusing on that stuff in younger grades, by the time they get to high school, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know what the OSI model is. Like, are you kidding me? I know like my ABCs. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think that we definitely need to start making a push to get these younger kids in it, because it's only, I mean, the industry's only expanding and technology's only getting, becoming more and more vast. There's more and more stuff coming out, more vulnerabilities. This is kind of stuff that we need to start really encouraging the younger generation to start taking an active learning approach in.
Yeah, I agree. And you were talking earlier about you feeling, oh, when I'm teaching some of these kids, like they'll be showing me new stuff, because I'm not the greatest coder. I recognize it. If they was like, Alex, you gotta get on the front line and code, I'd be like, all right, I'll try it. But like some of these kids, like they are brilliant, but the problem is we don't have the material for them, or we don't have these paths set for them. So it's like they kind of like just hit a ceiling or something. So it'd be really important for that kind of stuff to exist.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think we've all identified a gap in the market, and we should all collaborate and make it together. But anyway, for our first giveaway, Maekshyft, do you mind showing them the hashtag to enter? It is hashtag Do We Look Like Hackers. So put that in the chat, and I will collect your names, and then we will do a Wheel of Fortune. This is for a 1-month Try Hack Me voucher. Alexandria, do you enjoy Try Hack Me? Have you tried Hack the Box? What are some of like the learning platforms, or beyond those, what are some of the learning platforms that you really enjoy, and what would you recommend people that are new, go to?
That's a good question. Give me 1 second while I pull up my list. Sorry, I thought I already had it open. Yeah, so yeah, actually on my website, which is or my blog, which is actually alexandriastech.com, I have cybersecurity resources listed already. So Try Hack Me is one of them. I have some other ones. I don't want my list to pop out. So just visit the site alexandriastech.com and go to cybersecurity resources. It's the link at the top. And there'll be a list of resources or guides that I have. If you also look at my Twitter, which is again my name, AlexandriaTech, my pinned tweet is actually a bunch of like cybersecurity resources, and it's not just including websites, it's including YouTubers. I think have some podcasts in there that I listen to. So it's like all stuff and every single thing I've been through. I don't like to recommend stuff that I actually haven't touched for the sake of recommending it or creating like a cutesy thread or whatever. No, like this is stuff that's actually helped me a lot in conversations that helped me land over here with you all.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Sorry, I'm trying to like collect some of these names real quick.
So here I have a question while he's doing that. So, like you said, you've studied coding, you've done all that. What is your favorite coding language to study, to code in?
Okay, so if I had to choose one that I was going to be held hostage in an office and code all day in, it would probably be Python, because that was actually my first coding course in college. And I was like, this is the most difficult thing I've ever seen because I never coded before. And I made a C in that class. But even though I made a C in that class, I was like, I'm finna take another coding class. I am challenged by this. I have to keep going. So I love Python.
Now, what do you like about Python so much?
Okay, so since I never had a coding course before, I was like, when I first got introduced to it, it was very simple for me to understand. So it wasn't, I will say, if I had to choose a language that I've touched that is very much similar to like pseudocode for me, and I was able to look at one board from pseudocode and then look at the right board, I'm like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I went to Java, the reason I didn't really like Java as much, like I said, I'm not like an avid coder, is data structures and algorithms. That one was just I don't have good experiences from that class.
You're like kind of like bringing like academic trauma with data structures, because that class, that was one of those classes where my professor was kind of on two different sides of the spectrum depending on whenever you caught her. If you caught her outside of the class, she was fantastic, and like I really think that she kind of helped change my grade by like walking me through things. But during class, it was not a good time to ask questions, unfortunately.
Yeah, I felt like the class was going too fast. And it wasn't like when I said I love Python, I love how simple it is to be introduced to a beginner. If you've never coded before, this language was much easier for me to pick up in comparison to Java, which I'm glad that I took Python before I took Java, because if I would have taken Java, I don't think I would have passed the class, honestly. And also it's a code that it's a language that I teach the kids as well. So I can tell, like, from me teaching, let's say, Python versus JavaScript, I can see it in person how much easier it is to pick up one versus the other.
Yeah. I loved Python way more than Java. I took like classes in both. I mean, Python, yeah. I'm kind of with you on that. It's just way easier to read, I feel like.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, keep going. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, yeah. I've like I said, I've taken HTML and C++, and man, sometimes like if you're even off by like one thing and you're having to like scroll through all of your code to figure out, like, oh my god, where did it go wrong? C++ is not easy to read. At least I didn't think so when I first started.
Let's see. I did take a C class. I hope it was C. Gosh, it was so many classes I've just been attending, honestly. Not gonna lie, this year's been going by so fast. But yeah, I took a C class this past semester. That was very rough. I did get through it, but yeah, like I said, coding, like I know for me personally, I'm a very talkative person. So like a lot of my classes didn't require me to interact with people really. Like
Mhm.
we did pair programming, but not as frequently as I would wanted to. It's probably because I talk so much. So like I like the fact that I'm able to teach because I'm like I'm getting to enjoy this technical part, but also I'm getting to work those non-technical muscles. And people don't realize it is really hard to like be non-technical in the sense being able to carry that conversation, being able to translate technical to non-technical, like that's a skill set in itself.
It's actually a job.
Yes.
Because, well, that was one of the things when I was actually studying cybersecurity at the local community college that our professor was kind of trying to, explain to us like, this is a possible job that you could have and you can actually make a lot of good money doing it. And you're actually helping them out is the example that he gave. And I think it was actually a job that he had held at one point was he would go and talk to doctors at a hospital and go, okay, what are some things that you guys need, as far as changes to this particular program or whatever? And they would obviously relay that in a non-technical manner. And then he would have to then take that information from that conversation, go back to the programmers, and then relay that to them in a very high, technical manner that they're going to be able to understand. And then it would go vice versa after he was done talking to the programmers, saying, oh, either we can do that or we can't do that, or, maybe here's a different workaround, see if this, would work well for them. And then he would take that and then go back and, explain it to them in a non-tactical manner. And so, yeah, I mean, and he said he was making pretty decent money doing it, but yeah, it was funny that you said that because yeah, I was like, that's like a legit job. I don't remember what the name of the title is, but yeah,
Translator, interpreter.
yeah,
It should
well
be.
technical interpreter.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really like why I made my channel because like I feel like a lot of my like teachers for like the more technical stuff in cybersecurity were technical people. And so there was kind of like a communication mismatch because I don't think I'm that
Yeah.
technical of a person. So like they communicate it as if they're teaching a technical person. And some of my classmates would pick it up just like that. And I'd be sitting in class
Yeah.
like, why in the world am I not getting this? And then like kind of taking the time to like learn it. And then I guess like circling back and trying to explain it almost to myself in the past. It's like it's helped me kind of like really understand kind of what all's going on. And I wish that, while I was in school that was like a resource that was available. So that's kind of like why I was doing this. But yeah, I mean, I'm with both of you on this. That is that and gamified learning. We've identified two areas that we really need more of.
Yeah, yeah. Soft skills. I kept saying non-technical skills. My brain wouldn't pick up the word soft skills. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
So we will go ahead and do the first giveaway right now. If you do not win, you will be automatically enrolled into the second giveaway. So do not worry. But it's been a second since we've done this. So give me a sec. Okay. So we will go ahead and do this. Can you guys see this real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we will go ahead and spin. All right. So we have a winner. So congratulations. That is a 1-month Try Hack Me voucher. Go ahead and hit me up on Twitter if you are here. You are here, right? Let me check the chat real quick before we move on. And then we will go ahead and move on. So, I mean, we're talking about soft skills in cybersecurity. What are, some tips that you guys have with kind of with other people kind of, trying to pick up some of the technical stuff that may not necessarily be super inclined to, I guess, the technical form of communication. I don't know if I'm describing that quite well, but
No, I understand what you mean. I was thinking patience. I think that's a huge skill that you have to have is have patience. I don't know the word for this skill, but I guess the ability to relay information in different ways. So having I guess like I don't know if I would say some sense of concept, but like being able to like spread out an idea, being able to translate it into multiple languages or people at different levels necessarily. Like
Mhm.
yeah, so you should be able to do that. I feel like that's really helpful cuz I feel like when we get to so technical of a level we forget that other people are still not at that level that we're at, that concept or that understanding. So you trying to, that's why it's so important to take notes. Sorry if I'm jumping all over the place. It's important to take notes because then you remember how you were thinking when you were a beginner. So that's one of the reasons why learning in public is so important to me because I look back, I'm like, ah, crap, I can't believe I thought that was totally wrong.
Well, and to kind of ride on the coattails of that, I'm going to use the term teaching in public because I've found it personally that when I have to turn around, and I mean, and I did this when I was working in a help desk too, and I was having to train somebody on something, training somebody or teaching somebody a particular concept tests yourself on what you know. And there's been times where I've had to kind of stop and go, okay, hold on a minute, like let me go back and do some research because I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction or give you the
Mm-hmm.
wrong, information. So, I think that between the taking notes and also, teaching people is really, really solid as well.
Andrew, I'm going to write off you again. Andrew said, never assume people know what you're talking about.
Oh,
So important. Tech jargon. I'm not getting mad at tech jargon. I think it's nifty. But like a lot of times we in the community, we use so much tech jargon. We think people already know what it means and they don't. So now you gotta go back and explain it. Just start from like as if you were a beginner and make it easier on yourself.
yeah, tech jargon will get you. There's, and I like what he said there too, where he says like if you use an acronym, spell it out because especially in infosec, so many acronyms stand for the exact same thing. Like if you have SaaS, that could stand for like software as a service, or
That's
that
what
can
I would.
stand for security as a service. If you say that, I have to ask the question which one you're talking about. If you spell it out for me, then it's like, okay, now we're on the same page. But I mean, there's just a ton of different acronyms that share similar meanings, and it's like, yeah, you have to explain, unless there's some context in the conversation beforehand that alludes to one or the other.
Yeah, I agree. I can tell you from my previous internships, my cybersecurity internship that I had, I think by the end of that year of working there, I think I had like 3 or 4 notebooks of notes because I didn't know acronyms. I was writing things down. Sometimes I didn't have time to ask these whatever like concepts they was throwing at me or whatever. I had like so many notebooks. It wasn't funny. Sorry to the trees. But yeah, I
They
just
were
had
already
so
dead.
much. Yeah. Yeah. I had just so many notes. And it's like looking back like at those notes at that time, it's like I can tell that I was building off like whatever I was learning. So that's why it's so important to take notes. I would recommend that even if you're like at you're just starting a job or you're just starting an internship, that would be some of my biggest advice.
Say acronyms. If you haven't already taken it, wait till you take the SEC plus. Oh, there's literally like over 100 different acronyms, and it's like,
It's a whole appendix. Like that's
oh
the
yeah,
whole back of the thing. Like it's all the acronyms and stuff. And it's like, man, why did you have to do that?
oh no.
You
See,
didn't have to
here's
do
what you
that.
do: you get the digital version of the book, and then you do this really like advanced technical thing called copy and paste. And man, that'll save you, especially when
I'll,
you're making flashcards.
this is kind of just one of those things that I don't know. You just kind of like if you're in like multiple, like if you have feet in multiple areas at the same time, like if someone is like part-time in like one field and then they're also in cybersecurity and both are acronym heavy, like all the like guard reserve folks are knowing exactly what I'm talking about, because like you'll be sitting there and someone will say an acronym that's like very basic and you'll be like, what's that again? And they're like, yeah, this. Why didn't you know this? And it's like, you have no idea. That is industrial control system in my industry. And it's like, what? Yeah. It is a whole thing.
So I have another question. So I know you've been doing a lot of coding and everything, and you're still studying, cybersecurity as a broad topic. Is there a particular area that you would want to specialize in? I know you said you're going for DFIR. Is that, I mean, like what, I guess if that's what you're wanting to do, if that's where you're wanting to specialize, where, or I guess what was the reason for wanting to go into that? Like what drew you to that?
For me personally, I haven't really just been doing a ton of coding. This past summer, I was doing coding because I thought I wanted to be like a web developer. Obviously, I am not going to try to be a web developer. But I will say I've just been trying things. This past year has been my moment of exploration. I've just been trying and jumping from different areas. I think what I'm really interested in now currently actually is learning networking as I'm studying for the Network Plus. So that's something that I'm trying to understand. I really want to grasp something. I mean, I really want to grasp the foundational knowledge of networking. Sorry, can everyone hear me? Nope.
Yep.
I can.
You can? Okay. I got some weird pop-up or something. Anyway.
I did too.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure it wasn't me. I was like, not now. I'm like on the verge of saying something. My brain's already working. All right. So yeah, I'm studying for the Network Plus, and that's what I'm interested in right now. I decided to stop my Renaissance woman moment, move everything out the way, gather this Network Plus knowledge, hopefully pass the test. No, I'm gonna pass the test. I don't care how many times it takes me. And yeah, and then I'll figure out from there.
That's awesome. And yeah, that's it. I had the question, then it literally just escaped my brain because that's how that goes sometimes.
No, I know how that feels.
Well, if there's one bit of advice that I can give you for this is your first CompTIA test that you've taken?
Yes.
Okay. Take your time with it. Like
yeah.
I would suggest, trying to find some, depending on where you went to get your study material or whatever for, try to find some practice tests, because the way they word their questions is kind of different from any other test that I've even personally taken. And I jumped straight into the SEC Plus. I don't even have my Net Plus. I don't really plan on getting my Net Plus, even though I probably should get my Net Plus. But yeah, I try to find some sort of practice test so that you get used to how they go about wording the questions, just so you're a little bit prepared. The other thing I will also say as well, I took mine at home. I didn't go to a facility to have it done.
Lucky.
They are, huh?
Lucky.
Oh, no. I almost would have preferred to have taken it at a facility because they are extremely strict on what you can and can't do while you are at home.
My place was like a police interrogation room. Like it was just like a metal chair in the middle of like a damp room, and they're like, sit here. It was like Squid Games. Dude. I thought I was in that like organ harvesting scene. Spoiler alert.
I felt like I was a prisoner in my own home. Like I'm literally sitting here and I've got this camera looking at me, and I'm like, I'm a very talkative person just like yourself. And I read the questions back to myself because that's how I digest what the question's asking me. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this happens in here. And I had somebody come up on the chat and they're like, you need to shut up. And I was like, I literally typed it and I was like, I am so sorry. But literally for the last 28 years of my freaking life, I've been reading questions back to me and I've never been yelled at. until this moment. And
they're
they're like,
you're like, they're listening to you like or like, you know, sound the question out, and like this little like red beam is like traveling up, you know.
yeah.
Like, you need to stop talking. It's like, oh no.
Well, and let me tell you, it scares the crap out of you too when you see that and it comes up and like, sir, you can't say anything. You have to remain mute. And I just color drained from my face. And I'm already a really pale dude. So, you know, that's really saying something that it was noticeable. But yeah, it was like they're just very, very strict on what you can and can't do while taking the exam. So just a quick little FYI. But and I will also say this too, as a friendly person who took their first exam, there is no shame in if you have to delay it a little bit. Make sure, because I'm sure you spent your own hard-earned money on that exam. That is, make sure you are comfortable and that you feel prepared before going into it, because otherwise you're going to kick yourself. And I almost did.
Yeah, I was planning on studying like a chapter a week because I really don't have any network knowledge. And then because I plan to take it in March, but then I actually scheduled, like I like started doing a chapter a week. I was like, wow, I really can't do math because that doesn't mean I'm taking it in March. So I said, I'm just going to push it back because if I don't understand it, I'm not going to rush myself to go take the test because then I go fail and I'm like, well, now I'm out of money and I failed the test. So
yeah, it's like, man, when I sat back and I was like, I take this test next week and I don't feel very comfortable. And there's about $350 on the line. We're going to reschedule because that's a lot of money and homeboy just don't make that kind of money right now.
No, I felt that. I was just like, let me chill for a second. I'm a little too ambitious right now.
Yeah, I actually remembered my question. It was on like just, the Network Plus and kind of studying for that, because I remember, and I mean, we've talked about Maekshyft and I've talked about it. I don't think that the degree necessarily like prepared me for that exam because it's so broad, but it's also detailed enough to be frustrating in every category. So, like, how has your experience been with that with the Network Plus, and how did the degree and this isn't, let me back up. I don't want this to make it seem like I'm digging in on like degree programs, especially like my background's there. A lot of people like are from that background. It's really more of like, how can we improve degree programs to equip graduates? But, do you feel that, would you be able to like walk in and take the test without having to study more for the Net Plus? Or really is it just a lot of time kind of going through stuff that maybe the program missed out on?
I really want to say that I really do enjoy being at my school, and I'm glad for the opportunities.
I feel bad. I think, man,
Don't
we
make me laugh.
I'll put you in that spot here.
I actually saw that there's a counselor in the chat, so watch what you say. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, that's my bad.
I'd be like, sorry. But yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunities college has given me, because I feel like it is a privilege to be able to go to university, especially where I'm from. But no, I would not be able to walk into the exam and be like, yeah, I'm going to ace this stuff. I'd be like, I would be banging on the door or something, being like, hold on. And like, let me learn a little bit more. But I feel like there are benefits to going to college that I feel like that people don't think about. Because when you go to college, I feel like it's not just about like the knowledge you learn in the books. It's the experience. And by experience, I mean that ability to network with people is so easy. Even like during COVID, like you have literally have places like FedEx or AutoZone or something like that coming to your university because they want to pick from this specific university. So there's a sense of privilege in that. Now, it's probably going to change, of course, in the next few years. But as of right now, that's one of the benefits of going to college, I feel like, is that ability to network with other people. And it's so much easier. I think, yeah, I could like go home and self-study and stuff. And I ain't trying to start the self-study versus college argument because I've done both. But like, I feel like that ability to be able to walk into like a event made specifically for college students, like it's much easier and it's like less competitive versus like the outside world. Because this company specifically came to this university to get students. So yeah, to summarize that up. But back to the Network Plus. For me, school has taught me how to study. School has taught me how to study and put myself on a schedule, which is difficult in itself. So I'll like spend an hour every day trying to study. I know some people spend 3 to 4 hours. My attention span, unfortunately, is not that long. So I'm gonna give myself an hour every day and I hardcore study. Nobody talks to me. Like I'm like sitting there reading the books. I'll read, I'll do vocab, flashcards, things like that. I'll watch the videos, I'll do practice tests. I'll even have my mom sit with me and like she'll be reading me off the stuff. She has no idea what's happening, and neither do I. And she's like helping me study. So that's like, yeah, that's just basically the gist. Hopefully I answered the question.
No, and I think you actually like touched up on really like a strength with the degree programs. And I mean, kind of similar with my school was the networking and the internship side. And whenever we kicked this whole thing off, you talked about your internship experience and how extensive that is. I feel like that's kind of like the cheat code, because there's like a cliche. It's not what you know, it's who you know. But really, like, how much of a cheat code has that been? How important has that networking been, as you said, but also just the experience that you're getting at these different internships. You've gotten to teach, you've gotten to do consulting, you've gotten to work in, the finance industry. You've kind of gotten some exposure to just all kinds of different things. How much does that really help?
It has helped. And, like just, jumping from internship to internship, I've gotten to know different people. That also adds on to your networking, like your pool of people that you know, but also that ability to talk to other people that are actually in that field. And then you're getting to see what they do on the daily. You're learning how to actually do an internship. Because when you take your first internship, like there were so many things I didn't know. Like I didn't know I was supposed to just bring like a notepad and take notes like all the time. Like I had a notepad, but I was like, I don't know how to take notes. I don't know what kind of questions to ask. I know now, like my internships, I create like a 30, 60, 90-day plan, because as much as, they want something out of you, work, obviously, you want something out of this internship as well. And being able to, I know what I want in an internship now. I can be more selective as well. Like when I go into an interview or something for an internship and they ask you like, do you have any questions? You're going to ask about things like mentorship. You're going to ask about, like, I think companies are now starting to do this program where it's like a rotational program that I've been hearing about. You ask about, do they have those kind of things? Like, what's the first month like for an intern? Like that's that. So internships have really helped me get that somewhat on the job experience, but also it helps you practice for, when you actually like start applying for entry level jobs. And college is like another benefit of college. Is not saying you can't do this outside of colleges. Your university will have like, at least mine does, where they teach you about finances, like like buying a house. Like we'll have other classes outside of that you can learn about. Our schools now, like they still help you after you graduate.
Yeah.
Like my university does that. So like, it's not like, don't think you just graduate and it's like, all right, now I got this expensive degree, which my degree is expensive, which is why I said, I have my critiques, but like there's benefits as well to going to university. And yeah, that's my whole little rant.
Well, and I think too, the nice thing, and this was something that was kind of told to me by many people, both people that I've worked with, when I wasn't working in, help desk just yet, and I was a little lower level in our IT department, is that you can learn a lot of stuff while you're in college. Like what I was going for initially was, just a regular PC tech support technician. The stuff that you learn in college is like maybe 50% what you actually learn when you're on the job. Like when you're actually working, like they don't really, at least I didn't, I didn't learn troubleshooting techniques, and everything. And so once I got into help desk, that was something that was kind of brand new to me. And it was like, okay, if this is a situation, that you come across, okay, these are the different steps you have to take in trying to get that right information. It's like, and that's the kind of stuff that they don't teach you in a college classroom. But with you having gone through these internships, like that's something that you're getting. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, without even actually having gotten, a job in those actual fields yet.
Yeah, for sure. And I still have like a lot to learn. Like a lot of my like internships have been like more on the non-technical side. And I even though I'll be in a non-technical field, I still go hang out with the technical folks because I want to know what y'all are doing. I want to annoy y'all. Let me bother you for like a second, see what you up to. Let me see whatever this is. Like, for example, like I had never even like seen a server before at one of my internships, and they showed me what a server was. I was like, this thing is breathing so loud, but it was so awesome to me. And I was just like, and I learned about virtual machines, and my school had never talked about that. So like the internship was filling in places that I wasn't ready yet, like at my college yet. So I was learning about virtual machines. I downloaded VirtualBox onto my other laptop. She was a beauty. But yeah, my other laptop, like I was like, wow, there's all this stuff, Raspberry Pis. In fact, my dad just bought an Arduino because he was like, I see all this cool stuff you're doing. We're going to go do something later. So I'm going to go make him do that. So it's just all this other stuff. And another thing that college has really taught me is how to write. Oh my gosh, how to write is so important. I feel like it's a skill that I feel like everyone should know, like at least like how to translate like that technical stuff onto paper. And it's also important for you to keep track of what you're doing in the technical field, because you don't want to, like, when you need help on something, you don't want to be like, I don't remember why I did that thing. Like learning how to write, and it's just so important.
Those two things, I'm jumping in real quick before I forget about them. One, you going, from doing the non-technical learning and jumping over and bugging some of the people, that are more technical, and you're trying to like, hey, show me some stuff. That will get you very far. Do not ever lose that, because that is something, even when I was working on cars, and I'm seeing Caleb sitting there shaking his head like, yes, do this. Even when I was working on cars, before I even started touching computers, I was doing that. Like I was an oil technician, and they didn't have me doing a whole lot other than inspections and oil changes. When we weren't doing that, I was bugging other technicians. I was helping them do some of the deeper like head gasket repairs on engines, and pulling fuel pumps and all this other stuff. Like I was trying to learn more about cars than what my current position did. And that, yeah. So when you're keep doing that, I don't know what the other topic was that I was going to say. Oh, documentation.
Yeah.
See, God, getting
My
old sucks.
forgetfulness is leaking over to you. I'm so sorry.
But documentation is by far one of the biggest skills that you can have, like learning how to write documentation, because and I think this is just something that every company, doesn't matter where you go, every company suffers from, is good documentation on stuff. At my last company, when I was in help desk, I was like at the forefront of this dude was like writing documentation, but it was not, I didn't personally think it was in a manner that was easily digestible or easily to easy to understand. I was very much, and I mean, and again, this is something personal I would recommend trying to do. I wrote documentation as if you could pull anybody up off the street, degree or certification or not, and they can read this documentation on how to do something or how to understand how to do something, and then they would get it just by reading this documentation. And believe me when I tell you, that has helped me a number of times. Like it's actually cut down on how much training I've had to actually give somebody, because the documentation that I wrote on how to perform particular tasks was so good that they were able to just do it.
Yeah, can I hop in for a second? Like learning documentation, like how to write good documentation, and learning, like practicing my skills, which is why I started writing on my blog. It's a little empty right now, but we're gonna fill it up later because I'm on break. But yeah, like learning how to write and stuff, which is one of the things that helped me get like a part-time job as like a technical writer. Because even though like I let's say I didn't know this totally technical thing, I would go and learn about it, and I would be able to break it down and bring it back on paper to where it's digestible. And then technical writing, I feel like is like, I mean, I know some people say it might be automated or whatever, but like that's still a skill I feel like people should try to pick up.
110%.
Yeah, and kind of like to, Make's point, you have to kind of write it as if someone's like walking in off the street, even though, your company or whatever organization will probably have like an onboarding process. So they're coming up with some level of competence. It's so much better to have it as just like, you're talking to a human being that really doesn't know so much what they're walking into. And I feel like that really ties in very well to your teaching experience and teaching kids. Because I mean, we all understand, whenever it's taught like, we're 10, have you kind of noticed that informs each other in a way as you practice both?
Yeah, definitely. Cause I'm like, as a teacher, like I've had to like, I don't want, it's not like writing documentation, but I guess like when you're building your own lesson plans, like you do kind of have to break down lesson plans for kids. So like it's in the same way, like it's all like it's a full circle. It's all coming together.
Yeah, I'm into it. So I want to kind of talk about like social media and cybersecurity just a little bit because, of course, we all met each other on social media on InfoSec Twitter. It can be a great thing. It can be a not so awesome thing. Um, but I feel like overwhelmingly, I mean, really, both of you have been very, very positive voices in InfoSec Twitter, which can oftentimes lean in a very negative space. For both of you, open question, how important has maintaining that positivity been, and how helpful has it been to see other people also kind of maintaining that level of positivity online?
You're the guest, ladies first.
Okay. Cool. I was like, okay. So, how important has it been to maintain that positivity? I feel like this is like my personal like motto. I guess we weren't meant to digest all of this information all at the same time, and that's how I feel about social media. Even though I enjoy that social media has allowed me to connect with people and get these opportunities, it's nice on one hand because I get to connect with people and talk with people and things like that. But I feel like also it can get very overwhelming, and it's like I just shut it off. Like I enjoy social media, but I just shut it off, and I feel like when I was first getting on Twitter, I felt the urge or pressure to always be posting new content, to be always interactive, to always have the hottest new thing. But I feel like the most important thing I've gotten out of social media is being able to build these relationships and talk with people. Um, and talk with people and build bonds, and that's more important to me on social media. Hopefully that answers the question, the ability to build relationships and take them offline and bring them into real life for me. So yeah, I feel like social media has been helpful, but as I get older, not that I'm old or anything, but as I get older, it's becoming less important. And there are other things that are more valuable to me, like community and actually learning and being able to talk about what I do online in person. And yeah, hopefully that made sense. That I feel like I was very like hipster.
Yeah, I mean, I talk again and again about the importance of social media and how it's affected me personally. I mean, I started off just networking and I made a ton of friends who you know, unfortunately haven't had the wonderful opportunity to meet in real life. Um, which I look forward to. I've told probably over 150 people that I'll buy them a beer. I have to start saving up for that. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, it's literally the entire reason I got into InfoSec and then even turn around and got a job was due to the whole networking and social media. Like, if it wasn't for Twitter, I wouldn't be here right now. Like, I would not be interviewing you. I would not be sitting here being a co-host. I wouldn't even be wearing this shirt right now if it was not for Twitter. So, and I think being able to take the positivity that I feel like I just give out naturally. Like I'm just naturally a positive person. And I put that back out into Twitter. I mean, it has just helped tenfold. I mean, again, personally, that's all I see in my Twitter feed is positivity. There's very, very little that I see that's, anything super negative or whatever, maybe that's the Twitter algorithm, I don't know, but I'm very much a person of, you get out of it what you put into it. So it's like, if I'm putting positivity into my Twitter feed, that's all I'm going to see back, and I am hoping, very much like when I tell, or when I teach somebody something, that I kind of have a slight expectation that they will eventually take that information and spread it to somebody else. I hope that that's the same way with the positivity. Like, if I spread positivity and everything, like, to somebody, if they're going through a rough time or whatever, that they will then take that at another point in their life and push that out to other people.
Oh, I have one more thing to add if I can. That's cool. I want to add, like, also, like, I never talk about my experiences as being like, I guess the only person that looks like me in the room at school and university, and usually I am like the only Black woman in the tech field, or honestly in cybersecurity at my school. So when I joined Twitter, I felt exactly how we were just talking about that feeling is like, just the fact that, I don't know, it was other Black women in tech and Black men in tech, and I was like, I just wanted to see more of that, and that inspired me to keep going, because one of the things that was very difficult about being in university was, it's like no one looks like you, or no one understands the background that you're coming from. So being able to meet all these cool people in tech that are older than me and have been in the field for a lot longer, seeing all these empowering Black women be in the field, that made me kind of want to keep going as well. So I never talk about that stuff, but honestly, like, that stuff I hold very dear to my heart, is like that, seeing you up there, and seeing, not even just seeing you up there, it's like being able to feel like I can do everything that she can. And that makes me feel like, like, I was like, I got this thing. They got it. I got it. We're good.
That's awesome. And I mean, you are also that person now too. Like, there are other people that see you kind of as like an infosec hero. That's like a term I keep saying, right? But they see you and they're like, she's killing it. I can kill it too. So it's kind of cool to see that go full circle. You see people, now people are seeing you, and people are going to see those people, and they'll see you. So, it's that is awesome. That's great to see. We're going to go ahead and do the final giveaway. So put in hashtag learn in public down in the chat, and I will write your name down. This is for a 1 month try hack me code. There we go. Stumbling on words. This has just been one of those times where I just can't keep thoughts in one place. But anyway, yeah, put it down in the comments, and I will collect your name and we'll do that. How has social media helped? I mean, we've talked a little bit about networking and representation and education and positivity. Who are some people that you really enjoy following on social media, and how have you been able to use it to learn more in the process?
For me, I'm bad at remembering usernames, so forgive me. There's a couple of people on social media that I really enjoy. I believe, honestly, I'll point out one person. I'm sorry, I can't remember usernames right now, but my mentor, he's no longer on Twitter, but his name is Dwayne, and I forgot his username. I think it's GNUGRO. But he was like one of the first people that I talked to on Twitter when I was switching from being thinking I was going to be a developer into going into InfoSec. And I won a Try Hack Me voucher from him this past summer. And that was my first time ever getting exposure to Try Hack Me. And then from there on, my mind just blew up. I mean, my mind's already all over the place. But I was just like, Oh man, this is so cool. I've never heard of this. I was like, I've got to get an InfoSec, cybersecurity. I got to do all this stuff. And this guy is awesome, and he helped me through all these things when I was going through a difficult time in school, when I was like, man, I want to give up. I hate school right now. I like my school now. But I was like, I'm going through all these things, and that's the one person I really want to give a shout out to. Yeah, he just like really helped me push through and be my mentor, and really give me that guidance that I was looking for. So yeah, I don't want to ramble too long. I write a book on this.
You should. I mean, why not? That's awesome. And yeah, I feel like there's so many, there's so many amazing people on social media that you can catch. There's so many people like writing blogs and producing content and doing stuff, to help pull people along. Yeah, it's encouraging. I feel like there are definitely times where it would just be great to delete the Bird app or whatever. It's definitely important to put it down, but there are also times, where it is also important to kind of be on and interacting with people, because you'll never know. I mean, people get jobs on there just by, interacting with each other on Twitter, and it's crazy to see, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to put you on the spot real quick before we probably close this out. Who's one person that either you follow or maybe, or whatever, that you wish to interact with that you maybe haven't done before? That's like an idol.
An idol? Oh man. I don't know if I have an idol. I was gonna say my best friend on Twitter. Her name's Angel. Sorry, I don't have any InfoSec people that I can think of off the top of my head that I would love to meet. I just wanted to meet my best friend. I'm sorry, that was the first thought in my head.
Hey, your best friends can be your idols. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, she's been the person that's helped me get through all of this stuff. Oh, and Dwayne. You know what? Yeah, I want to meet Dwayne in person. Hi, Dwayne.
He's a fantastic guy.
Yes.
Very sad that he left Twitter.
Yeah, me too. But that's who I want to meet in person. There we go. And my best friend. Sorry, that was two people.
That's so. I mean, it's a cool relationship to have with your best friend. I mean, it's wholesome. Gotta like that. Eric keeps saying that I am his idol, and that's a terrifying position to put me in. So yeah, I'd say destroy that. Destroy that ASAP. It's all going downhill from here. So last call real quick for hashtag learn in public. And we will do this quick giveaway. Again, it's a 1-month Try Hack Me code courtesy of Cyber Supply Drop. So thank you so much to everybody there. Alexandria, what is the number one lesson, and no pressure, what is the number one lesson, big question, that you've learned so far along the way on your cybersecurity journey?
Give yourself permission to take the time to learn. Yeah, I got it. That's my one lesson.
I like that too. Yep. I like it. That's good. I think that's important because we're very much like, we're constantly trying to move. We're very much in like a go culture.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that time to learn is so important.
Yeah, with all these new technologies, I'm just like, I'm trying to keep up. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing right now, because then you end up jumping in so many different areas and you never really plant your feet anywhere and learn something that's sturdy. So.
Yeah, I second that, because I think, to kind of bounce off your point is, we say InfoSec is, so broad, and it is. And then even if you try to specialize in even like blue team or red team or coding or GRC or purple team or whatever it is, even those sub-subjects in and of themselves are massive. And there's just so much in there to learn, so I definitely agree with your point of, giving yourself the time to learn that, because there's so much out there. And, even to Caleb's point is like, you look at blue team and you're like, oh, I got to know, cloud security, and I have to know, all these other different apps, and, it gets overwhelming. So yeah, I think giving yourself the time to sit back and go, okay, like this month, this is what I'm studying, and I'm not going to waver off to anything else. I'm going to focus on this one particular topic and just put all my effort into learning it.
No, but I agree. Yeah, I agree.
That's good. So let's go ahead and do this last giveaway, and then we got just some. We'll wrap this up so everybody isn't staying up till like 11 p.m. Let me share real quick. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get this going. Alrighty. Looks like it is David Cho, so congratulations. Please hit me up on Twitter, and I will get you that code.
Woohoo!
Very exciting. Again, what am I doing? I need to just get that applause button. Like, what am I doing? Whatever. We are the applause. Who needs applause buttons when we are the applause? So yeah, David, just hit me up on Twitter, and we will get that done. I guess final question: What do you like to do to unwind and like stay positive? Because it's an intense field. People can be intense. We're constantly learning. It can be so easy to burn out. And what are some ways to kind of avoid that?
So like I have to have a lot of stimulation. So like whenever I get stressed and I need to unwind, I just try something different. Like for example, like there's different things happening in my city. Like I've been trying to go to different places. I go to different, let's say like a bookshop or something that's really cool, or because my city like it's historic value, I try to go somewhere that's memorable. I'll try like something different, like crocheting or something. I'll just do random things just to say that I've done it. And I guess like it's weird because like people say, what's your hobby? My hobby honestly is looking up tech stuff. Like that's fun to me, is looking up to new technologies. So those are my unwinding things. I just am like, what's happening in the city that I've never been to? And then I go do it.
I like it. That sounds like, it's an absolute blast. And you've been absolutely crushing it. I feel like we're not even to like the start of your journey. Like you're still like learning. Do you graduate this spring?
Oh yes.
Thanks for reminding me.
Hey, it's gonna be fun. You're gonna like it. Do you have just celebrate. Enjoy the moment.
I will.
I feel like I got busted thanks to COVID. Everything was canceled because it was like right smack in the middle of it. So, and I just kind of like started working and never had like a moment to kind of pause and, think about it all. So definitely take that moment to really process it and transition, because it's a huge accomplishment. So congratulations in advance. We'll still go back again. But that's awesome. And, there's just so much ahead of you. This is going to be great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I graduate next semester. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping everything goes well. Everything's gonna go fine. Everything's gonna be great.
Yeah, see, it's great. We got it. It's so good. So we will go ahead and, of course, before we shut it all down, thank you so much for joining. Seriously, yes. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story, your experiences. This has been an absolute blast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that I'm honored. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. Y'all are so cool.
Hey, the honor is ours, and I'm not kidding when I say that. Seriously, we've been able to meet some awesome people. It's been awesome talking to you. Seriously, this is great.
Yes, thank you very much.
So we'll go ahead and close this out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Again, thank you so much for an amazing 2021. Thank you for watching these live streams. Thank you for, just following along with the channel. 2022, there's so much awesomeness around the corner. not just for Maekshyft and Alexandria, but for the channel and for you as well. So I'm very excited for all of us to share in that. And let's dominate. Next week, we have a huge show planned. So definitely be prepared for information on that. But with that, I will see you all next time. Bye.